put some of these cute little benches here made out of poplar. Oh, there's some I haven't put together yet. Oh, got these old pine boards. Isn't it cool when you start out with something old like this and you kind of half sand it through, wind up with something like this. So you've got old and new shining through. So this gives it a nice tone off. So if you could just finish that the way it is, looks pretty cool, I think. So I wanted to give some background, kind of more inside the way my mind works and way I think and feel about some things. This is a deck of playing cards. When I come through school, I started out in computer science, but within a year or two I switched over to math and wound up getting a math degree, a bachelor's degree, and I went back about 13 to 15 years later and got a master's. But that was an interest of mine because it's math has always been fascinating to me, and one thing I enjoyed learning or discovering was the inherent design in it. Like, a lot of math is man-made. Like, we define what a number one is represented as, but we don't the actual meaning of the number one is, it stands out on its own. And similarly, like prime numbers are they're on their own. The number 3, we can define what a prime number is, but we can't make 3 be a composite number, and we can't make the number 2 be a composite number. It's going to be prime as long as we keep the same definition of a prime number. And if man had their way, the circumference of a circle wouldn't have anything to do with 3.14 and a bunch of seemingly random digits. It would simply be 3. We'd just call it 3. That would be done. But once you define your number system, then that number becomes kind of set in stone, and that's the inherent design that I'm talking about when I say what I've discovered. Now, I'm not the first one that's thought of that. There's a lot of people debate and argue that back and forth, but and some say, well, you're just reading too much into it, and others swear by it just as much as I do. But that's the way I like to think of things. There's, you have your thoughts up here and your feelings here, and as long as those two can get along, they kind of there's kind of a harmony within yourself. So, but if you're thinking one way and your heart is another, that's a bad place to be, in my opinion. One of the things I did in starting out in life was to search for truth. I wanted to find as much truth as I can, because that's something I placed value in, was knowing the truth of things. And I held people I've seen it with integrity, in my opinion, had high integrity. Those were always kind of like my heroes. I always appreciated someone that had a high degree of integrity. So I've tried to do that. I've succeeded in some areas and certainly failed in others, but that's my goal, is to have at least a decent amount of integrity. Not to say that I'm perfect. I struggle daily, as does everyone, and life is more of a struggle than it is not. Starting out in kind of a math and science field, that's you start to think of the physical world and the physical equations that guide that world. Like force equals mass times acceleration, and all of those physical equations that you learn, and you start to see kind of a mechanical world that makes perfect sense most of the time. And at the same time, when you're growing up as a kid, you have the Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and that's you come to see that those are not real, in the materialistic sense, and so you get, you start to see all religion being like the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus, and that costed me a lot of years, I think, of kind of a wastefulness, I think. So born in a fairly Christian home, I've become sort of an agnostic for a few years, until I could rectify what's up here and what's in here. And lots of people come to their religion through various means, but I think the Holy Spirit is the means that I found myself. So for my limited knowledge of biology and things of that nature that I had picked up in my academic career, I started seeing life is nothing more than a sequence of these cards, and our DNA just kind of a random shuffle of things, and nothing much more than that until I was pretty well up on an age. So it took me a long time to rectify what was up here and what was in here, and I don't think I would ever found it without the Holy Spirit guiding me a little bit. If life is truly random, then we would be nothing more than a random sequence of DNA, much like these cards here. So maybe if we had 52 attributes, we would be like a deck of 52 cards. And that's the way I saw it for a number of years. And then, you always study probability and enumeration in mathematics, and just how many ways you can count things. And that's when I started looking more into that. That's when I kind of saw there was a little more to it, I thought. So in a deck of 52 cards, if you want to know how many unique shuffles there are, well, there's 52 cards, and so the first card in the deck is going to be 52 ways to do that. And the second card in the deck, when you take the first one out, there's going to be 51 ways to do that. And the third card is going to be 50 ways to pick from that. So you go through that, that's 52 times 51 times 50, all the way down to 1 when you have one card remaining. And that's called 52 factorial. Well, factorials are one thing that increases very rapidly, and it becomes such a huge number that most people, if not all people, have a hard time comprehending it because it becomes so very large so very quick. So how many cards would I need to find a unique shuffle for every person in the world? Well, there's about 8 billion people in the world today. Maybe that number is climbing a little bit, but just say 8 billion. But so if I wanted to shuffle that, a small deck of cards to find that, I would only need 14 cards. And so if, at three cards, there's only 6 ways to do that. But when you start multiplying, times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7, all the way up to the number 14, then that becomes 79 billion. And so you can imagine how fast that's going to increase when you get to that 52 card. And so if life was a random chance of DNA sequences in a deck of cards, there's not enough planets and there's not enough time in the universe, 13 billion years. And if all 8 billion people started shuffling a deck of cards, they wouldn't find a certain unique shuffle that would need to reproduce just a sequence of 52 in a lifetime of the universe. There would not be enough time to reach that unique shuffle. Statistically. So that's when the Holy Spirit kind of told me, hey, look, you fool, life is not mere chance. Life is a beautiful thing, and it's truly given to you by God, the Creator. And some will argue against this, but in my mind here and in my heart here, we are rectified. So when I try to do things with integrity, and when I try to be a better person, and when I try to do things in the most real fashion, I speak from my head, and I also speak from here. So that's very important to me, and I consider that to be the best I can do, So not that I'm perfect again. Like I said, I make mistakes and I fail, and I'm not a good person always. I'm selfish sometimes, and I have struggles in this life just as everyone else, but that's one piece in my life that I have comfort. I have no doubt there's a man above, or a spirit, or whatever he might be, and he absolutely led me to understand that, because I just don't believe I would have found it on my own, because I'm not that smart of a person. So today, and most days, probably not every day, but I try to pray a lot, that hopes it might be heard, and I pray for folks. I pray at our church, and I try to do it authentically, because that's the way I feel about it, and I don't feel that religion is a farce anymore. I don't think we're just in it like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. I believe we're here for a purpose, and we have a reason, and all of those things. So that's somewhat why I wanted to do some of these videos, and who, like I said, I don't know if 5 people will watch it or 5 billion, but I will always be honest, and I will be myself. I'm not going to try to speak at you 35 lines per second, because I don't talk that way, and I prefer people not to talk to me that way, because sometimes it takes a minute for me to process everything. So that's definitely the way I feel about it. And next time we'll be on some more outdoorsy stuff and maybe something less serious. But my advice: pray a lot. God is real, and we all do the best we can, and life is a struggle. Not the struggle of Job, but sometimes it feels like it's pretty close. So thank you for watching. Subscribe.